No word of a lie, Dead or Alive is probably my favourite fighting game series. I know I've lost any street cred I may have had with the pro gamer community, but that's just the way I roll. Don't get me wrong, I understand that Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown is the greatest fighting game ever made, but when it comes to a fighting game of choice for a night in with pals, Dead or Alive always wins. And Dead or Alive 6 continues the trend of being fun, exciting and exhilarating all at once, apart from a couple of issues. I'll get to those, don't worry. First, the good stuff. If you were worried that DOA 6 was a bit of a sequel in name only, then you'll be pleased to see that the visuals have taken a real step up from DOA 5. This is the first game built from the ground up for the PS4 instead of ported from the PS3 after all. What I really appreciate is that DOA 6 stepped back from the gritty realism of DOA 5 and recaptures the stylised arcade look of the older DOA games, only updated with some beautiful effects and current gen magic. It looks great, it flows wonderfully too. The secret to Dead or Alive's success has always been how physical it feels. Fighters' limbs lock and react in realistic ways, where in Tekken the fighters can sometimes feel like big boxes pushing against each other. It really matters here because Dead or Alive's famous counter system returns. Punches and kicks can be held and countered in a split second, and every animation looks brutal and feels oh so satisfying to pull off. Playing on the couch with a pal has always been the best way to play fighting games, and Dead or Alive 6 has that magic one more go quality a fighting game needs. It helps that fights are so quick and the outcome hangs on a knife edge. You're only ever one counter away from losing. The new special counter and combo move for each fighter works as a great comeback mechanic too. The special meter beneath your health that fills up during the fight will allow you to pull them off, and they're much simpler and more rewarding to pull off than Dead or Alive 5's weird cinematic combos were. Before you get too excited though, I have to warn you of a major cardinal sin in Dead or Alive 6. There's no tag battle mode. The number one reason Dead or Alive has always been such a mainstay of our fighting game sessions here at BitSocket is because the tag battle mode has always been incredible amounts of fun, and the fact that Dead or Alive 6 doesn't have one is a crime punishable by a long stretch in Kilmarnock jail. That's not the only issue I have to address. You know what I'm talking about. It's something that's dogged the series for years, bringing down the reputation of every new game in the series for a long time now. I'm talking, of course, about Dead or Alive 2. What did you think I was talking about? You see, Dead or Alive 2 is still the one to beat, and almost 20 years later, I don't think that's changed. Dead or Alive 2 is the game that put the series on the map and introduced a lot of what makes the series so special. The tag battles, the multi-level arenas, the focus on incredible graphics. DOA 2 pushed the limits of the Dreamcast and the PS2 back in the day, and it still looks and plays phenomenally well, to the point where you have to ask, what about Dead or Alive 6 is actually better than Dead or Alive 2? Alright, there's more characters and it looks a bit nicer, but DOA 2 is still a looker. It's also lacking the tag mode, and as good as the arenas look, nothing compares to Dragon Hills from DOA 2. As intricate as the story mode is, and as good as the mission mode is, I still think the simplicity of DOA 2's one-player offering helped to be more compelling and addictive. Something I could happily play every day because it wasn't a chore. This goes for all fighting games, by the way. Why are folks so obsessed with shit story modes full of terrible cutscenes? Every modern fighting game has one, and they're a ball ache to get through. While Dead or Alive 2's story mode was simple. Choose a fighter, win half a dozen fights and watch a couple of 30-second cutscenes. All that time and effort spent making massive, intricate timelines of fully animated cutscenes, and all for the purpose of being a big thing in a fighting game that'll probably never finish because I can't be arsed. I can't be too down in Dead or Alive 6 though. It's still a game that Scott and I had a blast playing round after round together with. It helps that you can use the simple counter system from DOA 2 in this game over the more complex system of recent games. The game comes within inches of DOA 2's greatness. It is a brilliant game, but it's not quite the best in the series, and that's a shame. Dead or Alive 6 is fun, technical, fast-paced and exciting to play. It's probably the best fighting game on PS4 right now, or it would be if you couldn't just play Virtua Fighter in the arcade and Yakuza 6. It's just a shame that for all the advantages that the PS4 has over the Dreamcast, Dead or Alive 2 remains the king.